Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Obsidian for TTRPGs. So in our last episode, we kind of went through um, the plugin page, I guess is what it would be called, inside the browse plugins for fantasy stat blocks. And in this episode, this is going to be a hit or miss. You can choose right now not to watch this if you want, because I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. But we're going to try and experiment with the fantasy stat blocks and maybe even try and create our own to more understand the different I guess syntax or whatever of it. So let's go ahead and begin by making sure everything up to date. Looks like our version's up to date. Appearance, not that big of a deal. No updates there. And then, of course, our plugins. And it looks like everything is up to date. So we're going to come down here to our fantasy stat blocks and we're going to take a look at this. So I think maybe what we need to do, add new layout, is go in here and we will call our layout, let's call it testing, testwing, ing. And let's just play with this and see how it works out. So now we should have a testing down here. And what are our options? Create a copy. We can export it as JSON and we could delete it. We want to edit it. So first thing we want to do is add, so we can add our different things. So if else, that's interesting. So you can add JavaScript, groups. I'm assuming if we go look at one of these other ones, let's just go look at the whatchamacallit one. I went too far. The basic, Pathfinder basic. That one right there. So if we look, I'm assuming these are groups. I don't know if you can actually see that somewhere. And then these are your different properties. And it looks like we got traits, text, image, source. I don't know. Let's experiment with it and see what we can do. So if we do a group, maybe. Let's try a group. So yeah, that looks like that's about what that is. Inside our group, so do we click this? No, we could probably click here and say add, and this is where we can say property. Is it just property line? Yep, property. And if we add another one, add a second property, and then we can drag that. So how would have they made it? I wonder if there's a way like to do it as a table. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up in a second window just so I can reference it, what that original one looks like, and that way we can kind of use that to basic 5e layout, Pathfinder basic layout, that one. So they have a property. So if we click on the property, click on that. So we have the property. So for example, this we'll call name, maybe. Display text. Let's see what that would be, maybe. I don't think we need that. It's just name. Do not add properties, CSS class. The block will not be added if associated properties are not present. So that's why when we look at different blocks, it's not showing if the property isn't present, the value isn't present for the property, it doesn't show. So that's a good idea. What's the other options? Fallback, if not present, then this text will be. So we'll leave on that. I don't think there's anything here. Advanced settings. I'm just looking at the other one. So it looks like nothing else is here other than the render markdown. the block will attempt to render as markdown. So if we have markdown language inside that, it will, or as the value, it will try and render that. And I think that's pretty much all I can see in for the name property on the main one. Now my question is how do we move that then? So that right there is the property they call it. It's called name. So that's how I have it here. I'm just kind of curious why. Maybe it's an option in here. Add edit. What's edit do? Section heading. This text will be used. Section heading can be left blank. I don't think the main one has one in there. No. The has rule, if present, the block will have horizontal rule placed after it. So that's how they got the one, and then conditional. I don't think there's any conditional. No. So what this is going to do, if we do that, now you'll see it automatically has that. I'm still kind of curious how this goes to line. Maybe it's here. Can we click on this? No. Add, edit, delete. That's just the name. Oh, we didn't give this property a thing. So in their thing, they're calling this level. I'm still really curious. And it doesn't have any. So if we go complete that. So what I'm talking about, just so you can see, is this property here and this property here. So we've basically recreated this little tiny piece right here. But I'm not quite sure how they got them side by side. I was thinking, oh, maybe if you go in here, it will say add table, and then it will add a 2-cell table, and you can't see it, but right here is actually a line. But if we go in here, you can see that the has rule is the part saying add that horizontal rule. So we did that, right? And then was it this one? We just have the conditional. Then it had this same stuff. This is so that when you do the dice rolls, it knows how to parse that and send that information out. And then this is allowing it to render as markdown. So ours has all of that. I'm just not quite sure why it's that way. So let's see if we can actually use this now. So if we go and create a, where should I put it? Let's just go up here to actors and create, just in right off of actors, create a new note. We'll call test stat block. So if we do that, and then if we go just look at the basic on our, I can't remember, I think we just say this. Control, see there was something, there's also, whoops, Control Z, Control C, test stat block, V, I just want to get rid of this. I remember, let's go look real quick, because I'm trying to remember, actually it might be in one of these. No, it might be in this one. No, there's a value. I'm trying to remember what it is that tells it which one to use. So we created one called testing. And I know if we go into the Pathfinder 2e core and just any of these, right here, layout is what I'm looking for. Control C. And we'll go and close that back up. And we'll see if what we've got is so far working. Layout, layout, oh, it has them all listed. Although I don't see testing. I wonder if after you do that, you have to have it reload everything. Nope, not you, sorry. So if I go here and do a reload, You have to spell it right. Now if we go to layout and do T, no. So there must be a way that we get it so that it knows that that is a valid layout or something. Maybe we missed something. Let's go check. So restore to basic layout, show advanced options, default layout. So it's in there. Add new layout, import from JSON. It is with an uppercase T. I don't know that that matters. Well, maybe it's still there. Let's just try that and see if that does anything. Undefined. It looks pretty nice. All right. So how new Statblock layouts can be created and managed here. Spatial layout can be used for creating for a creature using the layout parameter. That's what I needed. Statblock layouts can be created and managed here. A specific layout can be used for a creature using the layout parameter. So we tried that. Show advanced options. It feels like that should be actually working. So if we go look at the file, let's go compare it to what the other ones look like and see if there's difference in there. So we come down here to Obsidian and YouTube, and I think it's in Obsidian itself maybe. Plugins, fantasy calendar. I don't think it's going to be themes. So the question is, where is that data saved? So we only have plugin and themes in there. So go back to plugins real quick. Oh, it's called Obsidian 5e Statblock. So if we look at the data JSON, maybe main data would be my guess. All right, so we have monsters. Let's go look for testing. TSTING. So here is our thing, name, testing, blocks, type, group, ID. Maybe that's not a group. Properties is nested. All the information about that. Maybe that's what we need to go look at. Maybe what I was thinking was a group isn't a group, and that's why it's not leveling right. Although that wouldn't have anything to do with, you know, why it's not displaying. Let's go back in here so we know that this looked like the right type of thing. I thought I put level in here. Level. Render markdown. And I think, what else did we have in here? Has rule. No, that doesn't have the rule. Parse for dice. Let's go look at the other options real quick. So let's look at, oh, I bet you it's inline group. I'll bet you anything it's this one. So if we go add a property now, so property line, and say edit, where'd it go? Right here. And do name. Let me just make sure I've got this all right again. All right, name, and then they have the conditional saying that if they don't have has rule there, renders markdown. So that's everything they have on it. So if I add a second one in here, that's a property line. Aha, ha, ha, there we go. Baby steps. We'll get this figured out. So inline property is what we wanted. So we can actually delete this one. Now we do want to go add in here the has rule, and we didn't have a section header, and I don't remember, did this have, and every creature is going to have a name and a level. So I don't think the conditional was set on this one, which makes sense. All right, so there we go. That has the rule now. Now we have our second property. We can call this level. And actually, I wonder, well, I'm going to check something. Maybe it was kind of working and we just didn't realize it. Renders markdown and check. So there we go. Now we've got that working right. Let's go back out real quick. I want to see something. So we know there's a name property. And if I say Bob, and there is not bomb, Bob. And hit space so it doesn't try and do that. And then there's a level property. And let's make him 23. Let's see if that does anything now. Okay, so it is working. The reason we were getting undefined is because we actually didn't have any of those values in there. Now, it's not using the Pathfinder 2E CSS. It's using the default, which I believe is more the D&D, but that's working, so that's good. So let's go look at. So we understand the property, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let's go look at, for example, the strength decks. You know, our abilities. So we'll create. We'll go back in there and try and create a in the next row. Inline stats right here. So if we go in here and edit, so now if we go add another one, and this one, I think it's still gonna, actually it looks like from the thing that they did the next one just as a single group. So we're gonna call this maybe abilities. I mean, they call it ability mods, but I'm curious how they did that. So we're going to add, and we want a table, and we're going to edit this. We're going to call this abilities, like so. Table header. Do we have table header in this? They do. Actually, they do. So these would be the fields. So we would say header. So this one would be STR, I think, for strength. Then we would have dex. Then we would have con. Can I hit enter on that, or nope? You have to hit plus. Then we have intelligence. Then we have wisdom. Then we have charisma. So let's see, and then of course conditional. If it's not there, we don't need to show it. And to set everything to parse to dice, I think. And so now if we do this, there we go. That looks about right. So now if we go, I believe this is where we could do it one of two ways. We could either do it as an array of items, or we could actually do the ordered list. Let's try both those and see which one, which one looks nicer or works better. So now that we have that, we can do an abilities : and then one way they do it is they hit enter, I think, and then tab, and then the tab or space maybe, and then you put in the different ones. For strength, I think you do it like str colon. Let's just set everything to 10 for testing purposes. Then DEX. Actually, we'll go up by 1 each time. That way we can tell that it's actually doing the right thing. So 11 con colon 12. That actually does bring up an interesting question. We'll see what this does because I'm kind of curious. Con, and then we have intelligence 13, wisdom, wisdom 14, and chaw 15. The more I type this, the more it seems like maybe I'm not doing it right. But let's see what it does. Actually, it seems to work right. So that's the one way we could do it. And that almost seems to make more sense than doing it as the array, because the array will simply, if I understand right, we'll just, let's do this. Let's take this, Control X, go down here, we'll just throw it down here just so we can test it. ABILITIES. The other way to do it is more like an array. Now my question is, where it's an array, usually in programming or in like Python, if it's a list, you just have your values and then it'll automatically assign them. Let's try that first. We're going to do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? See if that does anything. Interesting. That actually even adds the modifiers, right? This one didn't, right? So let's hit Control X on that real quick. I'm going to bring this one back up because I wasn't paying total attention to this one. Control X here, Control V. Yeah, this one didn't actually do the modifiers as the list. I mean, it worked right. And then my other question is, what if we got rid, actually Control Z. I'm going to leave that down there as well. And now I want to see if we don't have the identifiers, does it automatically know them? So if we don't have the identifiers, it actually does it right. Interesting. So if we don't have to have identifiers, then I definitely like this way better myself. But it looks like either way will work. So let's go ahead and delete that. I'm going to do the one I like better. Just leave that up there. And we'll just get rid of this guy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave them both in here. Just so, you know, we have reference to them. And maybe even do this, Control C. We'll put that one way down there because it didn't work as well. But this one did. And this is not going to be too, whoops, 11. Delete, 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 and delete. That should still do it as a bulleted list, I believe. Yeah, see, those are still bulleted lists. So this is the way I personally like myself. I think it's just doesn't take as much real estate, which is really big for me because this is a nice small stat block. Let me go look at the thing and see if there's any other types. We're at 24 minutes. We'll maybe do, I don't see any other, everything else is property. There are the traits. Actually, that'd be a good one because traits are things that have more like this, where it actually has the main trait and then it actually has a name and a description associated with it. So that might actually be a good one. And then that might be, there's also text and image where it's just plain text and plain image. I don't think that one's very important. But let's go try one other type, and I think that will be the big ones. So let's go ahead, go back into testing. Let's go ahead and stick in a horizontal rule. So adds the rule right there. And now let's go add in maybe a trait. And I think we'll actually add a header on top of this one just so we can see what it looks like. So if we come in here and we're going to say this will just be another group. And this group, I'm actually going to call it something. I'm just trying to think of something that has let's maybe like spells. Let's call this spells. SPELLS, spells like that. Doesn't have a rule. It is conditional. If it's not there, it's fine. If it's not. So I was actually expecting it to say the word spells up there. So that's kind of interesting. This text will be used for the section heading and can be left blank. So I thought it would actually display that. All right, so let's go add a trait type because those seem, I mean, the image, that's pretty self-explanatory. You just put in the image and give it the name, and then whatever the path to the image will come up. What else do they have? Mostly the traits is a pretty big looking one. So let's play with traits. So where are traits? Right there. So traits, if we come in here, we will call this, so our first trait, let's say these are spells, and let's say maybe cantrips? I don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn out, so I guess we'll find out. Do not add priority, use monster property for heading. I don't think so. Let's go look at what they've done on traits real quick. So they don't do any of that. The conditional on the Pathfinder is set. Has rule isn't. Parse for dice, of course. And render is markdown, of course. And that's pretty much all they have on it. So I'm assuming, if I'm understanding this right, this is going to expect a after the thing, kind of like we were doing with the abilities. We kind of do the same thing but with traits, and it actually expects to have a name and a value in there. So I think that's the big difference between the table versus the traits, if I'm understanding it right. So wait, let me just double check. So we call it cantrips. I'm gonna make that lowercase just so it follows the same format as its other ones. All right, so let's do that. Let's close that, and now we'll go ahead and do cantrips. TRIP. I'm not gonna click any of those. CANTRIPS : colon, and we're gonna hit enter. And so this is where it's going to be a name and a description, basically. So this one you would want to do it with dashes. Your name is going to be name colon. Oh, it's cantrip light. Well, actually LIGHT. And then we have, oh, darn it. Sometimes that thing that helps you out doesn't help out. LIGHT. Do that. And then this will be the DESC for description. Oh, whoops. I think that's how they were doing it. And then we'll say a light APPEARS appears. Maybe something like that. Let's see if that does anything. That does absolutely nothing. All right, I'm gonna go look at one of their examples of a thing real quick and see if we can figure that out. And then I think we're gonna call it. I think we've got quite a bit of info here, and probably your heads are hurting. Is this one? This is not. This is not. I need to go. Actually, I don't think I have. Oh, here we go. So they did, for example, abilities top. So here's their skills, name skills, and then the description of the skills. And each one has its own little list, it looks like. Let's go look at spellcasting and see if I can figure that one out real quick. We're at 30 minutes, darn it. Alright, so I'm going to go look on their thing real quick under Pathfinder 2e layout and their traits. So they did traits. Where is there one that was spellcasting? Here it is. All right. So let's go look at ours, and I'm going to try and match it up. Oops, I clicked twice. All right, so traits. Maybe instead we'll just call it the same as theirs, just so we can spellcasting. So we'll just call it spellcasting like theirs. They have that one and that one enabled, and then of course nothing enabled after that except for this guy down there. So that's basically all they have for the trait. So if we go now and look at the actual character using said trait, where is spellcasting in here? Spellcasting. They do have it in quotes. I wonder if that might be. Oh, actually, I see a big difference. So if we go back, one big difference they have in theirs is this is one, not a new line. This is actually, and they actually call, no, they call it DSC too. All right, so let's see. So they have here called spellcasting. spellcasting. So we have spellcasting, and I spelled it right. Ah, see, there we go. It was this other dash. We didn't want that. So simply having that dash there screwed everything up. Now we just get the light. What's this? I don't know what that is. It's probably because it was trying to put the description up there somewhere. So basically with the traits, it's kind of like the array. However, each element, and here it looks like they're just doing a new one on a new line. Once again, I think you could also do it this way, but that's going to actually get uglier because that would look something like this. If I'm understanding correctly, we would have the open bracket here. Then we would probably have to have a comma here to say this is, for example, the name/value. Then here we would have our description, and at the end it would have the other bracket. So it kind of looks more ugly, but I think that should not work. Okay, I was wrong. Maybe with traits it does have to be in a list format, which personally I think looks a lot better. Just remember that you don't have a comma, you just start a new line, and you don't actually have that. Oh, we don't have that bracket there. So this would be our first cantrip here. Then maybe if we wanted a second one, we would do slash, and we'd do name, colon, and do firebolt. And then hit enter and get rid of that guy. And let's see, DESC colon, let's see, a mote, oh whoops, learn to spell, a mote of fire leaps from your hand. And then if we wanted to stick, say, a damage value in there, we could, let's see, how do we do that? I believe we would do, trying to remember if we just do it like saying 1d6 and then plus whatever it would be, like let's say 3 in this case or something. And then in parentheses we could do the same thing. And I'm trying to remember, do I do it? I don't know, let's just experiment with it and see what it does. So 1d6 plus 3, and then do 1d6 plus 3 and see if that works. So 1d6, so this is the roll right there. So if we wanted that to show specifically, maybe we hit a couple spaces. There we go. So 1d6 plus 3. Oh, but no, now it doesn't actually have the roll. So it's actually looking, so maybe if I do 1d6 like that, 1d plus 6. Well, this is the next mod we're going to tackle, is the actual dice rolling, I believe. We go look at our stuff here. I think, well, no, we kind of looked at it, but we didn't go deep into it. Maybe we need to go revisit some of it. That was way up here, dice roller. Yeah, I think we're at 36 minutes, so I think this is actually a decent spot to call it. So those I think are the big ones. These are probably the biggest ones that it uses in the thing. Hopefully you understand how it works. We'll just get rid of this just so you can see that it's that part's working properly. I'm still, oh, that's yellow. That's where it says spells. That's my header. Haha, it is there. We might not want that after all, because that's really kind of ugly. So if we come into here and go back to testing, and then remember we did spells here, we can actually go edit and get rid of this, and that will fix that yellow blob. Do that, close that, and refresh it. No. Did I not save it? I couldn't read what that was saying. Edit. No, it's gone now. Did I add any of these others? I don't know. It might need to be reloaded because it's cached or something would be my guess. Maybe if I load a different page and then come back. There we go. That's what it needed. It just needed the page to refresh. So there you go. Hopefully you found this educational. You learned something new. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.